I married a psychopath and a cult because a prophet told me to, and this is the story of how I finally left. I married a psychopath and a cult because a prophet told me to, and this is the story of how I finally left. So here's where we left off. Ted, huge meltdown at Disney World. We could have gone viral. It was crazy because I gave my cousin a bite of my burger. So we had tried to patch this up to finish our Disney trip, but I knew that we were going to have to talk about it when we got back to Atlanta. So the next morning we ended up talking about it, and I told him, you know, would you yell at me in front of our future kids? Because he had just caused this huge scene in front of my young nephew. And obviously I'm thinking, how am I ever supposed to have kids with this man? So he said, I would if you deserved it. And then I said, well, then I'm not going to have kids with you. And then that is when he attacked me. I called the domestic violence hotline because I genuinely felt like I could not tell anybody in my life, because I did not feel ready to say that I was going to leave him or get divorced. I still felt like I was in this haze trying to figure out what my next steps were going to be. And I know it sounds so silly because you hear this story and you are like, leave, are you crazy? But when you're in it and it's your life, there are so many details that you just get clouded with. So for example, while I am thinking about leaving, I am also thinking, I have a job. Like I'm nannying some kids right now and their mom relies on me. So I was nannying for two families, the actor family, and then I was also nannying for another family, and she needed me. So in my head, I'm like, I have work tomorrow, you know, and I can't leave right now. And I can't just flee back to Texas because of all of these different reasons. And I'm thinking about my lease, and I'm thinking about, I don't know, just what would that even look like to start over at the age of 25 and be a divorced woman in these religious circles. So I'm running through all of these options, but the domestic violence lady really helped me realize that I was in an abusive relationship. So I finally decided to call my mom. I ended up calling my mom and my best friend at the time, and they both reacted in the best possible way. I do not know how they responded so well, because I think it's so easy for people to want to pull people out of these situations, to be like, you are coming home and you have to leave him. But they said exactly what I needed to hear. And what I needed to hear was, you know, you don't have to decide anything right now. And it sounds so stupid, but Frozen 2 had just come out at the time, and that whole song, The Next Right Thing, was really big at the time. And my best friend was like, all you have to do is the next right thing. Like, you don't need to think ahead. You don't need to decide if you were getting divorced right now. You just have to do the next right thing. So I decided that I was going to go back home with my family for a period of time, and I didn't know if that was going to be forever, if I was going to be getting divorced, or if, you know, maybe we would take time apart and we would get counseling and we would try to come back together. I didn't know what the future looked like, but I was very focused on just doing the next right thing and getting to safety. Surprisingly, Ted was okay with this, and I think that a lot of that had to do with the fact that he was afraid that I was going to send him to prison, because what he did by strangling me, I mean, that is a felony. You cannot do that. And he was just afraid that I was going to call the cops and that I could press charges against him. So at this point, he is trying to win me back by saying, whatever you need, I will wait forever. I will be the most patient man in the entire world. And if you need to go home to see your family for a while, that's okay. I'll be here waiting. So here comes like a couple days of really awkward living together, but also knowing that I am about to leave. I had to wait a couple days for my flight. So here ensued this very awkward couple days of trying to live together. And, you know, I'm trying to make sure that he doesn't hurt me again, and then he's, you know, begging for my forgiveness constantly. So there was this very interesting situation that happened where he had a doctor's appointment, and y'all tell me your opinion. Okay, tell me your opinion on what you think actually happened here. But he had a doctor's appointment, and he went in to the doctor, and I'm sitting in the car. So when he comes back out, he is crying, and he said, I told my doctor what I did. and like that he told his doctor that he strangled me. And apparently his doctor was like, stop, like, do not tell me this, or else I will have to call someone. Like, I have to do that if you tell me this, so please don't talk to me. And Ted just like cried and was like, okay. So he comes back to the car and he's like, I confessed. Now, in the past, when I've told this story, a lot of people think that this was like total manipulation and that he did not tell his doctor, because like, why would he tell his doctor? One, that doesn't even make any sense, and his doctor's reaction doesn't make very much sense, because he really should have reported it. But I think he might have been trying to just make me feel very bad for him and to see his level of guilt over what he had done. And I'm going to get into it, guys. There is so much that I learned about Ted, like, recently, okay? In the last couple months, he absolutely tormented a woman who recently lost her husband. They dated on and off for a while, and he just completely tormented her and treated her just as bad as he treated me. So I don't know, like, he is known to be a pathological liar. So let me know. Do you think that happened? Because I could go either way. He ended up dropping me off at the airport, and I actually ended up kissing him goodbye. But my reason and my thinking behind it was I genuinely did not know if I was ever going to see him again. And to me, it was kind of this like poetic, tragic, horrible, traumatic end to this relationship. Even though I wasn't decided, I did know that, hey, this might be the last time I ever see this guy that I spent years with. And it was the last time that I ever saw him. So follow for the next part. I'm going to talk about the crazy family history that was in my family that I did not know about, that finally convinced me to leave.